In the headlines, normalcy returns to Bokkos after burning of district head's house office. Police detain couple over death of a man in Ogun. Threat in fruits and vegetables shrink as prices rise. On the global scene, polls open in Bangladesh election guaranteed to hand Sheikh Hasina a fifth term. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in full. Normalcy has returned to Bokkos town, the headquarters of Bokkos local government area of Plateau State, after the fracas that led to the burning down of the house and administrative office of the district head, Michel Mondi Adenchi. A traditional ruler's house and his office were set ablaze on Friday by protesting women who were expressing discontent following the arrest of some community members who were allegedly involved in the recent local killing in the area. The protesters accused the traditional ruler of being a sellout and aligning with the others. Sources from Bokkos on Saturday said normal activities were ongoing, adding that the general officer commanding 3 Division of Nigerian Army, Major General Abdul Salami Abubakar, had visited the area to assess the level of the Friday's incident and sympathize with the traditional ruler. They said during the visit, the Army General had called on the people of the area to remain calm and go about their normal activities. Meanwhile, former Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has called on the federal government to arrest those behind the attacks in the recent attacks in Plateau State. Dogara said this injures while on a visit with serving and non-serving members of the National Assembly to Governor Kelly Mofwang. He urged the governor not to relent in his efforts towards providing good governance to the people. Governor Mofwang appreciated the visit, saying he has reported the issues to President Tinubu and believes that adequate steps have been taken to foster a future occurrence.
Using whatever coercive apparatus we have as a nation to locate where these people are and their sponsors, littered in the ungoverned spaces that we have them in Nigeria, whether on the Plateau, in Nasarawa, in southern Kaduna, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in the northeast or in the south, wherever these people are and their sponsors, they must be located. And then after they have been located, the commander-in-chief will either have to take justice to them or bring them to justice. But the failure to take justice to them or bring them to justice has always been the bane of the fight against terrorism and violence in Nigeria. So my call, therefore, is to the president to rise up.
It's unfortunate that this cycle has continued for years. And we are praying that as a nation we'll get it right, so that we'll toe the path of justice and not allow people to slip into self-harm. But I want to thank God. I think I can, with all boldness, say that I see a desire for a shift with the current president. I see a desire to change the narrative, a desire to rewrite the story and get things right.
Now, the police command in Ogun says a couple, Mba Moses and Florence Moses, have allegedly killed one Mark Kalu after the victim sustained injuries from a fight between them. This is contained in a statement signed by spokesperson of the command, SP Umulola Odutola, and made available to newsmen in Abeokuta on Saturday. Odutola explained that the divisional police officer in Odeda area of the state on Saturday at 7 a.m. received a report of the death of the 45-year-old man. The spokesperson said that the deceased sustained injuries during a fight that occurred on October 8, 2023 at Osele Market. She says the altercation took place in the market square between the late Mark Kalu and a couple, Mba Moses, age 50, and his wife Florence, age 40, leading to the death of Kalu. According to the police, efforts were initially made by the Babaluja of Osile, the Igbo community leader, to mediate and find amicable resolution, but this failed. The suspects have now been taken into custody for preliminary investigation into the matter. She explained that the body of the deceased had been deposited at the mortuary of the Federal Medical Center, Idi Aba, for autopsy. Now, Musa Mustafa, the father-in-law of the Minister of Police Affairs, Ibrahim Gaidam, has been declared winner of the All Progressives Congress APC primary for the Yobe East senatorial by-election slated for February. Mustafa is in a race to replace Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, who represented the Yobe East senatorial district before his appointment as Minister of Police Affairs by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. During the primary, which held at the August 27 Stadium, Damaturu, Honorable Musa Mustafa Kulas scored a total of 357 votes to beat his only opponent, Salisu Sanda, who polled 0 votes. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has scheduled the nationwide by-election into vacant political offices to take place on the 3rd of February this year. The APC primary election was conducted by a 3-member committee chaired by Ibrahim Masari, while Ibrahim Jallo served as his secretary. In his acceptance speech, Honorable Musa Mustafa promised to protect the interests of the good people of Yobe East Senatorial District, Zone A, and provide quality leadership in the 10th National Assembly, if elected. Meanwhile, pregnant women in Lagos have lamented the rising costs of medication and antenatal care. The recent removal of fuel subsidy and foreign exchange unification by the government of President Bola Tinubu has skyrocketed inflation, affecting prices of goods and services in the market. This, coupled with the recent departure of a leading pharmaceutical company, GlaxoSmithKline, and FMCG brand Procter & Gamble, has led to a hike in prices of drugs and some baby wear products. Some pregnant women who spoke with our correspondent are also lamenting the hike in prices of medications and other essential healthcare products, decrying the sad situation. Dorcas Okafor says getting pregnant these days requires financial planning, as rising costs of goods and services has also affected the prices of drugs, maternity items, and the antenatal consultations fee. Residents of Dogara, a local government area of Kano State, say they are at risk of an outbreak of hepatitis B, which is currently separated in the area if nothing is done to swiftly address it. In this special report, Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that no fewer than 5 persons have been confirmed as positive cases of the disease in Dogara local government. His report.
This is Karai town in Karai local government area of Kano State. It is also the headquarters of Karai Emirates, one of the 4 first-class emirates in Kano State. The people here are mostly Hausa Fulani Muslims. Many of them are farmers or herders, but they face the same old problems. Rising unemployment, poverty, and more recently the deadly challenge of hepatitis B. Hepatitis B is part of a group of hepatitis viruses that attacks the liver. It is spread through the blood and bodily fluids and is commonly passed on via unprotected sex or from mother to child during birth and through contaminated noodles. Unfortunately, residents of Karai are recently turning out to be positive for hepatitis B infection. Honestly, as people are coming here every day for blood test, we used to have an increased confirmed cases of hepatitis B. And this is largely responsible because of there is no adequate awareness. People are not aware on how to conduct themselves. And this is caused by either unprotected sex and several other reasons that are responsible for hepatitis B. This is one of the few laboratories within Karai communities where no fewer than 5 people reportedly test positive daily. Virtually on daily basis, if people come to this hospital and so long they are tested, we used to have about 5 to 10 positive cases. Ibrahim Ahmed was recently diagnosed with hepatitis B, but after a few weeks, he tested negative, though not without some treatment. There was a time I went to Gorzo Hospital to donate blood for my brother. I was told that I have hepatitis B, and the doctor told me to keep on using sugarcane and some other sugary kind of food. So when I came back home, I maintained that advice. I constantly took sugarcane and other sugary things. And after some few months, I went back to the hospital. I was tested negative of this hepatitis B. This is Kara Specialist Hospital, where several people come for blood tests on daily basis. Although neither the hospital chief medical director nor any staff of this laboratory is allowed to speak to us, but residents say failure of government to provide necessary healthcare services is largely responsible for their current situation. Honestly, I learned that there are so many reasons responsible for this hepatitis B, but then we in the local areas, who cares about going to the hospital every now and then to test himself? In fact, you can see that we don't have enough of healthcare facilities. Government has virtually abandoned us. We don't have anything here to show up. So when there is even no healthcare facilities, how do you expect people to go to the hospital seeking to know their state? People here often treat and manage the ailment at home on account of lack of financial resources for treatment at the hospital. Attempts to speak to health authorities in Kano on the spread of the disease were not successful. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, Kodam Market provides hundreds of people with opportunities to earn a living. Although inflation and a petrol price hike have recently slowed down activities in the market, the renowned vegetable and fruit sellers are now looking for ways to sustain their businesses. Hassan Kodi, a report.
Every morning, farmers take their commodities to Kodam Market in Yamal-Tudeba local government area of Gombe State. The goods are later distributed within Gombe and neighboring states. Fruit and vegetable sellers here run at loss due to the high cost of transportation.
Alhamdulillah, ya rage kusan a kashi 100 ya rage kashi 70 na masu zama wanda ba aiki yi.
Thousands of people depend on this market to earn a living, but for now they are at risk of losing their jobs because we are receiving only 1/3 of the vegetables we usually transport here. It is largely due to the low yield at the previous harvest season and the cost of transporting the products to this market. Price of vegetables is skyrocketing. We earn less or nothing sometimes, but for today it is somehow stable. The moringa we bought previously at 3,000 naira is now 2,000 to 2,500 naira, but still not cheaper compared to last year's price. This inflation was the worst I have ever seen. We are buying 100 kg bag of onions at the rate of 97,000 naira and transportation cost 10,000 naira. Therefore, it must be sold at 125,000 or 130,000, and all this was due to an increase in the petroleum price. Sellers are strategically adjusting the price of the commodities to minimize losses and sustain their businesses. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
This is news update on Trust TV coming off after the break. Our tribal marks disfiguring or for beauty, identity. Details of that and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our top stories. Normalcy returns to Bokos after burning of District Head's house office, and police detain couple over death of a man in Ogun. Now to more stories. According to recent studies, Nigerians who are not computer literate or have no digital skills may become unemployable in as little as 10 to 15 years' time. Against this background, residents of Bauchi State have been speaking on the multidimensional approach to using digital skills to improve social service at different levels of human endeavor. Adamu Imam files in this report.
According to statistics, 30 to 45% of jobs in Nigeria will undoubtedly require digital skills by the year 2030. This implies that civil service in some federal and state establishments which are still largely paper-based, will most likely be affected by the switch if deliberately steps are not taken to bridge the digital divide.
Places, those that are working, especially our civil servants in the villages or in the local governments, where there's nothing like internet, they're not computer literate, that is, they're not digitally compliant. They will have difficulty. Maybe the government will devise another means of accommodating them.
To avoid being left behind, some parastatals as well as workers are beginning to embrace technologies that will enable them fit into the changing world of work.
They ask to improve your efficiency in work. So resistance to it means you don't want to improve or upgrade yourself. So in terms of the position, in terms of sharing position in the office or ascertaining certain position, director, permanent secretary, there's a need for each and every civil servant to cohabit or to have computer skill, either at the basic, medium, or efficient level, or we call it proficient.
For many, the laxity from the government and the people to switch to machines-enabled workflow will definitely impact the recruitment process in civil service, especially if contracted to private firms that will look at competence as against political patronage.
Major of the activities that is done within the civil service, computer does it today. And it means that it will affect the level of human resources. Where you need 10 people, at the end of the day, you end up needing 2 or 3 people because the computer. For instance, now there is what we call artificial intelligence, the AI, who normally do most of the things. In fact, the artificial intelligence AI can even write a memo to you.
You write to cancel, but in digital, when you make mistake, you simply delete and make corrections. So, like I said, in the next 10-15 years, if you are not certificated with digital experience, it will be difficult for someone to get recruited into the civil service. So political patronage apart, but that is the end thing, and that is what we are expecting in the next 10 to 15 years.
With the respondents admitting to the existence of a huge digital divide in the nation's workforce, there is a need for the nation to take immediate action in this regard. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, tribal marks have traditionally been seen as a way of authenticating one's identity as a member of a particular tribe in the African continent. The facial marks are carved in different patterns and styles peculiar to a tribe. They are also considered a symbol of beauty and a rite of passage in some communities. However, the tradition is almost obsolete in many communities. Hassan Kori, a report.
Tribal marks are permanent facial or body marks that have been part of various African cultures, including Nigeria. The practice have spanned for generations. These marks are often unique to specific ethnic groups and are believed to represent tribal identity, beauty, and social status.
Zane al'ada ne, al'adu ne na gargajiya na baya can da ake yi.
Tribal marks are sanctuary-esque traditions. It is a way of recognizing the tribe, clans, and family members without even asking a person which tribe he belongs to.
Wannan ba Babure ne, wannan ba Sokoto ne, wannan ba Gobiri ne, wanda daga zanen shine ake bambanta kabilu.
It is quite unfortunate that globalization, together with modern child care systems, threatens these ancient traditions. In recent years, the practice of tribal marks have faced increasing scrutiny. Many argue that it infringes on individuals' right to make choices about their own bodies, while others point out that it can have physical and emotional consequences for those who bear these marks.
Having a tribal mark, to my own understanding, that's what used to lead us to tribalism and ethnic crisis. Because it's true, maybe I can be able to have a relationship with you, not knowing that you are from so tribe. But as far as I saw you with a tribal mark, it's easily for me to identify that you are not from my tribe. So as you start grooming something like ethnocentrism. That yes, my ethnic group is more superior than your own.
We have tribal marks, but we cannot let our younger ones or our children to have it. It is all tradition that need to be abandoned. While they continue to hold cultural significance for many, there is a growing recognition of the need to protect individuals' rights and well-being. Many African countries have taken steps to discourage the practice of tribal marks. Hassan Lawan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
And now away from Nigeria, Bangladesh began voting on Sunday in an election guaranteed to give a fifth term in office to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina after a boycott led by an opposition party she branded a terrorist organization. Hasina has presided over exceptional economic growth in a country once beset by grinding poverty. But her government has been accused of rampant human rights abuses and a ruthless opposition crackdown. Hasina's party faces almost no effective rivals in the seat it is contesting, but has avoided fielding candidates in a few seats. In an apparent effort to avoid the legislature bill labeled a one-party institution, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP, whose ranks have been decimated by mass arrest, is leading a weekend general strike, urging the public not to participate in what it is called a sham election. But Hasina 76 urged the public to cast their ballots and show their faith in the democratic process. Still on global scene, a woman in her 90s has been pulled alive from a collapsed house in western Japan 124 hours after the area was struck by a powerful earthquake that killed at least 126 people. The residents of Suzu on the northern tip of the hard-hit Noto Peninsula had survived for more than 5 days after the 7.6 magnitude quake. Chances for survival dropped sharply after the first 72 hours. About 200 people remain unaccounted for, according to authorities. American teenager Coco Gauff successfully defended her Auckland Classic title by battling back from a sit-down to defeat Elena Svitolina. The U.S. Open champion triumphed 6-7, 46-47, 6-3, 6-3 to record her 7th win in 8 career WTA singles finals so far. 19-year-old Gauff has now won 29 of her past 33 singles matches. The Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year, starts in Melbourne on 14th January. Still on sports news, Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green has had his suspension lifted by the NBA after missing 12 games. Green was banned indefinitely for striking Phoenix Suns player Joseph Nurkic in the first during the Warriors' 119-116 defeat in December. The incident was the third time the 32-year-old had been ejected this season. The forward was also ejected for 2 technical fouls against the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier in November and was suspended during the playoffs in April after stamping on Sacramento Kings player Domantas Sabonis. In 2016, he was suspended for Game 5 of the NBA Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers for a low blow on LeBron James. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Akraman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.